Hey guys, this is how to make horizontal and vertical lines in InDesign. So, if you go over to the toolbar, which is on my left, although sometimes it's on other parts of your screen depending on just how you have it set up, you're going to want to click on the right under the type tool, you're going to want to click on this line tool, which is just kind of represented by this diagonal line. And it should appear like that little symbol right there on the middle of the screen, and you can just kind of click from the start point to the end point and create a line. Pretty simple, and then you just click back to your selection tool and you can move it around and such, and extend it, and rotate, etc. Generally, we use lines that that are either horizontal or vertical, and actually a lot of people struggle with getting lines to be either perfectly horizontal or vertical, so we get a lot of lines that look kind of like that. It takes a good amount of practice to figure out how to draw lines that are perfectly horizontal, and I'm not going to pretend I do it perfectly right all the time, but that is a horizontal line. Any of this kind of weird bumpiness on your line implies that it's slanted slightly. So yeah, please just be very, very careful when you're doing lines. Zoom in, check them carefully to be sure they're not slanted at all. One thing that you can do if you're really struggling with it is you can get another folio out of here, and folios have both horizontal lines and vertical lines. And I'm just going to pick up that line and then delete the rest of the folio. Element by element, give me a second. So now I have this horizontal line and vertical line. I'm just going to ungroup them. And now I can extend and change the length of them without any difficulty, so long as I am on this top selection tool and not direct selection tool. I can change their lengths without having any trouble with their directions changing or with them getting slanted. I can also change their lengths over here. I can just go like whatever and get a really long line just by changing the length in the properties bar. So yeah, just be very, very careful because these slanted lines just tend to look sort of unprofessional. Do not recommend. There are lines all over our pages. They're in the folios, under bylines, sometimes to separate stories, especially if there are two stories that are both vertically arranged. Yeah, they're pretty useful. They're good separators. You can do some things with lines, like if you go back over to properties after you've clicked on the line, you can up the stroke so that it's kind of a thicker line. You can change the color. Sometimes you'll see red lines normally on our color pages. That is this default red. In the patches right here is the Silverchips red, or you can get that color out of CC Libraries. It's the same. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to lines. They're pretty simple. The one thing is you just gotta watch out really carefully for any of that tilting until you have gotten kind of some practice at making your lines perfectly straight or vertical. But you can always just copy or paste a line from the folio.